Number two in the 70s series. Oh, 70s are thereabouts. I'll tell you what, much shorter on this one, folks. And just a couple of recollections and a couple of questions. What are the things that you remember most from that era, from growing up? If you grew up in the mid to late 60s, early 70s, what do you remember? What things do you remember that maybe are no longer with us? I wrote a few down here. Tell you what I remember. I seem to remember from being very, very young, going to the off licence was a real treat. And you always seem to get a hell of a lot for your pocket money or your money. I don't know why, but you seem to. You seem to get a lot more than you get today. And we didn't get a lot of pocket money those days because we didn't have a lot. Yet you seem to get a lot for your money, but then again you valued it more. But my early memories of growing up, funnily enough, is you seem to have machines everywhere. Machines dispensing goods. Machines outside shops, or outside off-licence, or outside co-ops. Outside most anything. I remember beech nut machines. Remember the chewing gum beech nut? I always remember beech nut machines. I don't know why. It stayed with me for years and years, that. You also had a bubble gum machine. You know, the round pink bubble gums in the fancy coloured wrappings. I remember those. I remember you got one bubble gum when you were younger. I can't think what it was. It may have been just called bubble gum. I don't know. But you got something inside the bubble gum with it, like a voucher. But it must have been very, very small because the bubble gum wasn't very big. And you used to send away, and you could get gifts. I've got one in the bedroom there. I meant to show it. It's a thing about that big. It's like a plastic little wallet with a zip on it. And it is plastic. It's all like leather, but it's plastic. I've had it for like 50 odd years. You sent away and you got that from it. You got loads of other things. I'm pretty sure one of the top gifts you could get when I was a kid, I'd probably been about 10, 11 then, 11, 12. It'd been the very early 70s. I think I saved up enough to get what was bigger than a transistor radio. It was a radio of about that size and about that deep and about that high. And it was one where you could get like your Luxembourgs and I don't think really Caroline, but your Luxembourgs, loads of radio stations. But you could also get aeroplanes on there and sometimes the police, but often aeroplanes on there and whatever else. Fascinating it was. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And that was all from vending machines. I also remember getting things like your fruit and nut in the vending machines. That was a fruit and nut, you had it everywhere. You know, the smaller bars. I used to love that. Used to love it. If memory serves, I can't remember if it was the beech nut machine or the fruit and nut. I think it was the fruit and nut one. It was always one that you could sort of fiddle. When I say fiddle, you use on some of the machines, not all of them, you used to be able to bang the side and bang it in such a way, in such a place, where the little drawer at the bottom end would pull out and you'd get a bar of fruit and nut. I know we shouldn't have done it, but we did. We was kids, weren't we? That's what we did. The pop, Corona, that was always the one I remember the most. But then Alpine, they jumped on board. Alpine and Corona both used to deliver via lorries. They had a bit of standoffs in different towns, in different cities. It was a bit like Benny Hill, you know, the fastest milkman with the other fella, 2 ton Tex from Teddington, drove the baker's van. They used to have a standoff. It was the same with Corona and Alpine from time to time. And what else did I remember? The Bars, I think Bars is still there now. Bass, Top Deck, I think they've all gone. They were all the different pops. I think most of them have gone. I put something out there the other day and somebody was mentioning old sweets and chocolates and whatever else. You know, I think somebody mentioned Spangles. About 4 people mentioned Spangles. What is it about Spangles that we all liked? Considering we all remember them and all liked them, why did they discontinue them? Strange, isn't it, really? Do you remember the polos? We've always had polos. Do you remember when they did the fruit polos? They went a long time ago. I don't know how many years ago, but they went a long time ago now. I quite like the fruit polos. I thought they were okay. You know, I'd normally buy your normal mint ones, but the fruit ones from time to time were grand. I like them, but went a long time ago. When we were kids, like your Sherbet Dib Dabs and your K-Lie, you'll still get K-Lie from the odd place, but you don't see it regularly, do you? And all your bonbons and cola cubes and the candy lipsticks and what have you. All great things, you know. You get bits still, but most of it isn't there anymore. You know, you've got 2 ounces of most everything them days. You've got to go to a specialist shop now. You can still get bags of toffees. Your 2 ounce, well, you get nothing but 2 ounces anymore, your quarters, but nobody does them. You know, and the selection you had was fantastic. The amount of sweets in glasses, or the big, well, they weren't plastics, or the glass jars, then they were fantastic. You loved it as kids, you loved it. Tudor crisps, gone. Burton's crisps, gone. Potato puffs, gone. Salt and shake, gone and sort of came back, but never as good. Chocolate bars I was thinking. I remember Bar 6. I like the old Bar 6. just discontinued, gone. Aztec, that was one of my favourites. When anybody mentions chocolate bars that have gone, that are deceased, Aztec is always the one that comes up. I loved Aztec. Most everybody I knew liked Aztec, but they got rid of it years and years and years ago. I don't know why. Cabana, do you remember that one? I like that one. Was that coconut? I think it was coconut. Pretty sure it was coconut. Dairy Crunch, I like the old Dairy Crunch. Now, I don't know if I've not seen them 5 or 10 years ago somewhere, but again, if you do, you don't see much of them. Dairy Crunch, I like the old Dairy Crunch. Banjos, oh, the old banjo, I liked a banjo. Marathon, when it before it was Snickers. Why did they even change the name? Just to Americanise it? Well, I liked a Marathon, and it was bigger then. They made it Snickers and made it smaller like they with everything else. Old Jamaica, didn't mind the old Jamaica, that was alright. Do you remember the old Roundtree's misshapes? Used to love them. I think Old Bangers or one of them places does something very, very similar, but they're not the same. The old misshapes, oh, I used to love them. My mum loved them. Used to get a bag of misshapes every now and again, and she'd share them. I used to love misshapes. I thought they were great. Tell you what I liked. Tell you one of my favourites. Dundee biscuits. You remember Dundee biscuits? I loved Dundee biscuits. They're like a shortbread biscuit with chocolate on the top, but they were like that size, round, and they were like that thick. Oh, I love them. Them packs of 6. Love them. Absolutely love them. They went many a year ago now. They were cracking. They were really, really good. I mean, I couldn't think of much else. What other things have I ever left off that you liked? There'll be loads of things. Loads of things. Before I go on to the next bit, because we're nearly finished now, there's only 6 minutes, we're only about 6 minutes more, just some memories this more than anything else. I'll tell you 2 things. Do you remember the old machines that used to do the fruits and nut and different bits of chocolate outside the shop so you could get it at night time? Because shops them days used to close at 4, 5, 6 o'clock. Off licenses maybe 9 or 10 o'clock, but we didn't know it was off licenses. But with the chocolate bars, you could get them anytime you wanted, same with the beech nut. I watched something the other day on the old... the footage detectives that I've mentioned on the air before on the old Talking Pictures TV show there, and they were saying, he mentioned one of the guys, the presenter, the guy that runs is it Noel Cronin who runs Talking Pictures? I think it is Talking Pictures TV, might be wrong. He was saying, I said, we had a machine where we lived, he said, used to love it, he said, but what you do, you won't get the chocolate. I mentioned this before already, I think. You won't get it after the sun had come up. You'd wait, winter time, no problem. Summertime, you'd get it after 7, 8 o'clock at night, he said, because it was in such a place, the sun was on the machine all day, and all your chocolate would be mushy and runny. He said, but by tea time, or by night time, or in winter time, everything stayed firm or firm back up, and it was fine then. But you'd never get it in summertime, he said. He said it was a mess, absolute mess. Now, you'd think they'd have had more sense than to do that. These people sticking the machines on the walls, wouldn't you? But obviously, in this case, they never. But I'll tell you what I missed. Do you know what I missed more than anything? Of all the sweets and the chocolate bars and the biscuits and all those things, of all the things they did then that I've missed the most, you know what I miss, and I really did, is the old-fashioned, proper Mars bar. When I was growing up as a kid, the chocolate bar, above all others for most everybody I knew, was a Mars bar. I don't know why, but it was. Virtually everybody, to a man or a woman, loved a Mars bar. Do you remember the old work, rest and play? They were that big and that good. You could work, rest and play on it. They're that small and that crappy now. You'll probably rest on one, but you'll never work and play on one. They won't give you that much energy. They used to be brilliant, and they were massive. I mean, every sort of 5 or 10 years they go down in size. But I would absolutely love to see an old Mars bar. Somebody probably somewhere's kept one somewhere, even though it's not eatable now. I'd love to see what the size of it really was, because I just cannot remember. But I seem to remember as a kid, you put one in your hand and it felt heavy. It felt heavy. I think it was longer than today's. It was deeper. It was wider. They were brilliant. I used to love a Mars bar. I thought to myself only about 2-3 years ago now, Mars have been around for years. It's probably the most well-known chocolate bar in the country. Why didn't they on 50-year anniversary, or 100 or 120, pick a day and say, right, what we're going to do, folks, we're going to turn back time. And what we're going to do, we're going to make the original Mars bar from, like, say, 1970 when we were growing up. Same size, same everything, same filling. We're going to do the old recipe, exactly the same size as it was. But what we're going to do, we're going to charge them at today's prices, be them 60, 70, 80 pence. Now, all right, they'll lose a little bit of money because they'll put a lot more ingredients in, but it don't want to be a one-off. They could run it for a month Now, I worked, one of the first jobs I had was in Rowntree Macintosh in the packing department. It was a part-time job, but I was there for like a year and a half. They'd never take you on permanent because they could always get rid of you when they wanted to. And if work drops off, they could get rid of you. It was slave labour, really. But I was always there. They never finished me up because I was good at the job. It was just packing. Anyway, I worked at Rowntree Macintosh when I was a kid, a young kid. And they used to have boxes of chocolates there, you know, Kit Kats, I think that was Rowntree. Anyway, they had loads and loads of chocolates in boxes, you know, like this. And I thought, if Mars Bar did that and brought that back, I'd buy a couple of boxes. I would. I'd buy a couple of boxes of Mars Bars and I'd probably freeze them and have one every now and again when I wanted one. I'd love to have an old Mars Bar. I'd love somebody to give me an old Mars Bar to take me back to that time when I was a kid. Because the two things I remember was the old style Mars Bars, and when I was a kid of about say 9 and 12 years of age, between about 9 and 12, we used to have a youth club. I used to go to our school youth club. And they used to have, you know, bottles of Coca-Cola. You know, remember the old style bottle? Only about that size. I used to love them. I think it tasted so much better out of a bottle. I think the recipe was better than today's, whatever they tell you. They were always cold because they'd have them in a fridge. And they were just absolutely brilliant. We'd go to the youth club. We'd get a couple of bags of crisps, as well as doing stuff at the youth club days. We didn't just eat and drink all night. We did run around a lot. We worked it all off. We'd get a couple of bags of crisps and we'd get a bottle of pop. And I was with my mate at the time, my best mate at the time, a chap called Michael Cartwright, a lovely, lovely lad, lovely young lad, one of the nicest men I've ever met in my life. Same man, he was a boy then. He's a man now, I've not seen him for many a year. And Mike always had a bit more money than me, because Mike had a paper round job and something else, you know. So we had extra money. And we'd have a bottle of Coke each that I'd pay for mine, he'd pay for his. And nearly every week he'd buy me an extra bottle. He didn't need to. He was just a lovely, lovely lad. He just had more money than me. Our family didn't have a lot. I'm not so sure his did. Them days you didn't. But he had a bit more money than me because he had his paper round. And he used to buy me an extra bottle of pop, and I used to love him for it. I love him to this day for it. For all I've not seen him for probably 35, 40 years. I've never forgotten it. My memory's crap. But I remember that. I remember when people do good things for you. So I remember the old Coca-Cola, and I remember Mars Bars. I'd love an old Mars Bar. But being a kid, I mean, what else did I think of? I was thinking of other things there. Remember, you got a bit older and you were drinking, but you were maybe too young to drink. You weren't allowed to drink, but still did. Do you remember the Party 8s? Was it a Watney? Was it the big can with about 8 pints in it? It was well before you used to put the old stuff in to fizz it all up, or the old stuff to keep it fresh or whatever else. You'd just break it and pour it, the old Party 8. They had flagons of cider. Do you remember the flagons of cider? I've got a story to tell you there. I remember when I was a kid, we used to go to a disco I think it was a Sunday night. It was a Sunday night called the Leisure Centre. We used to go to a disco at the Leisure Centre every Sunday night. And this one year we'd have been about 13, and about 4 of us got a flagon of cider from the off licence. I think I was the one that went in for it. I was looked older than my age. Might have been 13 or 14. Anyway, we got one apiece. And in a flagon of cider, there'd be about 4 pints. They were like that size. And they had like one of the old thingies with a finger on it, so you could do it over your shoulder there. You know, like they did in the cowboy films, the westerns. So you thought you was a bit of a cowboy, and you'd be out down the fields drinking it all before you went to the disco. But hey man, we're only 13, 14, don't forget that. Anyway, I'd had mine and it was sort of 3 or 4 pints, whatever it might have been. Never been a drinker, never drunk before. I'm only 13 or 14. Gets in the disco. As I'm walking there, I'm feeling a bit ropey. As I get in there, the room's spinning a bit. After half an hour, I'm thinking, I'm not for this world. I don't think I like this. I'm absolutely bladdered. And I mean bladdered. I walk home from the disco's about 800, 1,000 metres. Not far at all. Not far at all. I remember I'm walking on the main road. It's winter time, if memory serves. It's 8:30, 8:45. It's pretty dark. And I'm in the middle of the road. You know where you got the white lines? And I'm walking in and out the white lines. I'm clever enough to move when a car's coming, but I'm doing that. Now, there's a footpath both sides, so why I'm doing that, I don't know. Anyway, I gets home, gets in the house, I've got my own key, and I managed to put it in the, don't know how I do it, but I do. Goes in the kitchen, because I thought, I don't want to go in the front room, my mum and dad see me, they're going to go berserk if they know I'm bladdered. I don't know how I'm going to cope with it. Anyway, I feel okay, or I thought I felt okay, and I went dogging kitchen, and we've got the dog, a lovely dog, only a puppy, only a young puppy. Anyway, I don't know what happens to me. I lie down on the kitchen floor. Why, I don't know. I might have passed out, but I think I lay down. I think I was tired. I've had too much to drink. Anyway, my mum comes in for me. I'm laying there in the dog's pee. There's only a puppy. The dog's peed and I'm laying it right on my bonds. I mean, I could have done it anywhere on my body, but I had to put it in the air, didn't I? So that was my story with the flagon. Not a good story to tell, I suppose, but it happened. So the old cider flagon, Man's Brown Ale, I used to love it. They still do Man's Brown Ale in some places, but you can hardly get it anymore. I used to like a brown and bitter when I was about 16 years of age. Mild, I used to like mild. I used to drink mild in many places. You still get it in the odd place, but hardly anywhere now. Mild's a dying beer, it's sort of gone. Top Hat bitter, you remember Top Hat? I remember Top Hat. Tartan bitter, the old Tartan, I remember that. I mean, there's loads of others, I can't think of them all, they just come to mind the other day. The old Greenall's bitter, well, I'm from Warrington, they were based in Warrington. Grunala, I think that was the lager they did. Grunala, that's gone a long time ago. Harp Lager, I used to like Harp. Now, they still do Harp in the odd place now, but it doesn't taste as it used to. Now, when we were kids, we had a tip near us, you know, the old tip there, and we used to play it in and around the tip all the time. And it was weird, we used to have the old pellet guns as well, the old, you know, the old pellet rifles. We shouldn't have had, but we were kids, that's what you did, didn't it? You were kids. And I seem to remember every now and again, must have been some kind of local brewery, I don't know, because I don't know who made Harp. Now and again, they dump beer on the tip. They try to hide it, they dump it. And it was because most of the cans weren't full. You pick up a can and it'd be half full. You pick up another, it'd be quarter full. And then you get the good ones where they were 3/4 full. Or they might be full, but they're part of a crate. So they're no good because they sell them as a crate. And now again, you get them all. Now and again, we'd open them up and be drinking them. Now and again, we'd be shaking them, shooting them, and they'd go everywhere. We used to also have it with, you know, the old... We used to get, what's it on there? You know, the old spray paint, cans of spray paint, the old cans of spray paint. We used to love them. We'd get the old cans of spray paint, put them on the fire. I know it's dodgy, warm them all up, throw them away, shoot them, and you get paint everywhere. We loved it. But I'm on about Harp now. I always remember Harp from them days. And then Orangy Boom. Do you remember Orangy Boom? It's a lager, not a tune. I used to like an Orangy Boom, me. The old Legion there where I live used to do Orangy Boom. Stopped it years ago. Thought it was a nice drink. Castlemaine 4X. Well, I don't give a 4X for that. It was alright, but I liked Orangy Boom more. I mean, when I was a kid, I was a bit of a rocker. I've told you that before. You know, the very, very long hair. I mean, very long hair. Never had my photo took. Didn't ever like my photo took. To this day, never had my photo took. Got a few pictures of me lately. God, I can't say it. I think I said it about 3 weeks ago. I've got hair down to here, and the old tash, used to have the old tash. Looked stupid, but I had it. It's only the second picture in my life I've ever seen of me that I've liked. I liked it, and is it weird as it is, I've got 3 more pictures sent to me by a pal only about a week ago, and I liked 2 of them. Again, hair all the way down there, dead bushy, no perms, nothing like that. I never had anything done like that. No, all natural it was. And I looked at it and I thought, well, I'll tell you what, you might have been weird, you might have had long hair, but you looked all right. And I looked all right, folks. Don't now on a picture, but I did then. Remember when you was at school? I remember being at school. I'm on about high school now. Remember the time in the early 70s when you had did they call them Oxford bags? I think they did. We used to call them baggies. They were really wide at the bottom end. Someone mentioned them the other day. You'd normally have a big band, a big waistband with loads of buttons on there. You had the big wide back and you had side pockets with buttons. It was weird. I remember what we used to do. We'd have our blazers on as well in school. You're talking high school where you'd have a blazer. We'd have our crisps in the blazer pocket. And because we didn't want to give them out or share them often, we'd have put our hands in our pocket and get our crisps out a couple at a time. And we'd have them in the pocket there. And I remember there was a bully at school once, didn't like me. He was a couple of years older than me. I'm getting the crisp out and he jumped on me and knocked my arm as I'm taking them out of my pocket, ripped my pocket off. Not a nice fella, but it's happened. When the baggies, we had the big platform shoes. Remember the platform shoes? They were like that, weren't they? At the back end and at the front end, they were like that. Good God, you were like you were walking on craze, man. I mean, I thought I looked good, but you did them days, didn't you? But you were watching the old Alvin Stardust and Gary Glitter. Did I say that then? I did, didn't I? I'm not going to edit, you know that, but he did have them on. Slade, Sweet, Mud, Shawaddy Waddy. They all had them on. All of them on. The Rubettes, they all had them on. What could you do? It was everywhere. Everywhere. Do you remember tank tops? They were the little jumpers with the sleeves cut out. We used to also call them, I don't know if you remember this term, dicky jumpers. Dicky jumpers, what's that all about? I don't know if you remember that term, but I remember it. Where we live, we used to call them tank tops or dicky jumpers. Probably because we looked like little dickies in them. We did look a bit, a bit of dicks, but that's what they called them. That's what they called them. Levi's and Wranglers. Well, Levi's was the favourite. You'd always wear Levi's. Now and again, you'd wear Wranglers, the poor man's Levi. And that would be it. That would be in the circles I moved around in. Brutus, oh no, 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 no. All the other stuff, no. You never touch the other stuff. Ever. And I mean ever. If my ma bought me anything that wasn't Levi or Wrangler, I wouldn't wear it. So she wouldn't buy it. She cottoned on pretty quickly. I was always a Levi man. I'd have the old Levi jeans and often the Levi jacket as well. See, in our gang, we had a gang, you see, and as I say, I was a bit of a rocker. We also had the old sawn-off. Do you remember the sawn-offs? I bet you don't. You're thinking of something with the great train robbers with the shotgun. No, 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 no. We'd have the old Wrangler on, and we'd have Wrangler number 2 and cut the sleeves off. Waste of a couple of good sleeves. You couldn't do anything with them. They'd go in the bin. But we'd have the Wrangler with the old sawn-off on top of it, the old whatever it might be. We used to have them. We thought we looked dapper. Don't you laugh all you want, but we thought we looked dapper. Was there anything else? Do you know what? I couldn't think of much else. We had a lot of the old band patches as well, you know, because again, rock, we like the old rock music and stuff. You know, the patches, the cotton patches, all sewed on all over our jacket stuff. We had all them. We had all them. We used to love it. I loved the late 60s, early 70s, I did, honestly. Late 60s, early 70s, especially early 70s was for me. In fact, late 60s, early 70s, late 70s. Late 70s as well. Well, late 60s, early 70s, late 70s, and at a very, very big stretch, early 80s. And that's what all this is encompassing. Right, that's a shorter video. That's as it should be. But with films from America and Great Britain, there was too much. What can I do? Now, my memory, as I say, is not great. You'll remember a lot more. Tell me what you remember about fashion, about pop and crisps, about sweets, about candy, as they say in that there America, about chocolate, about snacks, your biscuits, your cakes and all that palaver. Tell me what you remember. Last thing I remember, and it should come to me now, school dinners. Well, junior school, not bad. I've had worse, not bad. Senior school, out of this world. I do not care what anybody says about school dinners. What anybody says about the school dinners of the school that I went to, that is some of the best food I've ever had. Me and British food, love it. Cakes, pastries, anything to do with potatoes, spuds, the old Jockey's whips, chips, all of that, gravies, love it all. It was brilliant. I'll tell you what, I'd be in school, I looked like that. Absolutely no weight on me. 6'1", I was probably 5'10" when I was at school in high school. 6'1" nowadays, always thin until a few years ago, and I could eat for Britain. I nearly said Africa there. I could eat for Britain. They couldn't eat in Africa. They had no food. I could eat for Britain. I could eat and eat and eat and eat. Honestly, the dinner ladies loved me. They never threw much away when I was around. There was a few of us, but I was one of the championes. I might have a dinner. Sometimes I'd have two. No, I don't think I'd ever have two. I'd have a dinner. Then we'd get the old puddings, and it could be the old cake and custard. You know, it could not have an apple pie, but it'd normally be cakes with maybe a bit of syrup on top, or a bit of jam on top, or whatever it might have been. Might have been a coconut cake. Could have been anything. Often with custard. I like the custard. Semolina, boom. Not for me. Mo, not for me. What's the other one? Tapioca, no chance. Rice pudding, I can do that, even with jam in it. I can do that. Tapioca, semolina, oh, evil, evil. So there'd be the odd day I couldn't have any pudding. Because if they were on and only them on, I couldn't have anything. Anything else, I'd eat it all. Love it. Treacle sponge, all of them. With custard, always custard. I like the old custard, I do, honestly. Used to love it. There's been times, I think, at school, and it made me sound bad, this. I might have had, I can't remember, I'm guessing, probably 5, 6, 7 desserts, maybe. Maybe. I might be wrong about that. But you go for more and more and more. And they'd let you. If they hadn't left, yeah, come back, yeah, come back. Can't have any more? Yeah, come on. Bump, 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 bump. And then either I'd get too full or they'd run out, whichever came first. Honestly, that's how it was. That was high school for me with food, and I loved it. Our school food was brilliant. It really was. I think it was probably one of the best schools in the Northwest for food. It was brilliant. Anyway, that is it. I've got to the end of it. I did a bit on there. Didn't mean to. It just came to me. Anything you can remember about your school dinners, about your school food, about anything that you're dressed in, anything that you remember that you ate, and so on and so forth, let me know. TV, don't mention any TV to me at the moment. Music, don't mention any of that, 'cause I'm going to do all that. They'll be longer ones, so there might be 2, 3 or 4 more videos. Anyway, let me put the bins on just so I can knock this off. What is it? 24 minutes. That's better than yesterday. That's a lot better. A lot less ads for you to listen to. And you might have an input on this one. Okay?